and welcome to Wembley Stadium for live coverage of the Adobe Women's FA Cup final between Brighton and Hove Albion and Manchester City. The Barclays Women's Super League champions are aiming to complete a first ever domestic double by lifting their first FA Cup since 2020, while Brighton have already made history just by reaching this final. It's the first time they've ever done that. Head around the back, Caitlin Hayes!
Shaw on the turn, she's done it!
Madison Haley gets Brighton level.
Shaw's header, quite incredible. Only Shaw on the mark in the Women's FA Cup.
Oh, and there's the winner to send Brighton to Wembley.
Well, Brighton, a club very much on the up and now making history. They have done and are doing a lot of good things under Dario Vidosic. A little hit and miss in the league this term for sure, but they ended strongly with a fine spring run that included beating Manchester City just a few weeks ago. Either side of that victory, they won the big knockout ties that have got them here. Let's hear from the coaches. First up, Dario Vidosic, who's been working out how to beat the best.
Like the last 2 weeks, try to play out every scenario in your mind. The game's been constantly playing, so I feel really confident. We've trained really good. The girls are confident, and now it's just about today executing. And we know we've got a tough challenge with the England champions, but one that we're relishing.
Yeah, and how do you instill that confidence in them to stop the day kind of getting away from them?
Look, we just spoke about it. It's hard because you need to experience it. We can't recreate Wembley. We can't recreate today, but we need to enjoy it. We're the only two teams that have the privilege of competing today. I know everyone would want to swap and be in our position, so we need to use that as a good energy and not a nervous one.
And Man City, newly crowned champions, but you've done it before. How do you beat them?
We have to be us. We have to be brave. We have to play our football. We know that they have a lot of very good players that can hurt you very, very quickly. So we'll have to be aware of that, switched on for the whole time. So, but look, we're excited by the challenge. We can take confidence from our last meeting and also earlier in the season, but today's another day, another game, but we'll be ready for it.
We're excited to see how you get on. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Former Tottenham stalwart Jenna Schillaci with me for this one, and if Brighton need some inspiration, Jenna, Fran Kirby is right up there.
Yeah, absolutely. Five-time FA Cup winner, Fran Kirby. She knows exactly what it takes to lift an FA Cup. A key player. They're gonna, no doubt the team have leaned into her in this preparation for this final to lean on every bit of experience. The young players have no doubt been around her, sucking every bit of knowledge out of her. So she's going to be huge today for Brighton.
And Madison Haley has suddenly found some form.
Yeah, absolutely. Young Haley has come to form. She's on fire at the minute. 4 goals in her last 6 games and a huge goal in the semi-finals against Liverpool. She's probably Brighton's most informed players, a real threat up top.
Let's have a look at some of the Brighton facts and figures. They ended up finishing 7th. They have been in the FA Cup semi-final before, but this, their first ever final, out in round 5 last term. And they have only lost one of their last 8, and that was on the final day of the season. They were 7 unbeaten before that. And here are the English champions, which must sound so good to their fans after being the bridesmaids for so long. A decade of frustration, but all of that blown away by a brilliant goal-heavy season. Debut double under Andre Jeglerts. What an achievement that would be. They have so many dangerous attacking options. And what news has come this week that the most precious and prolific of all, Bunny Shaw, is staying. A happy Andre Jeglerts.
With a lot of celebrations from the club, from the city and from all our fans, so that has been amazing. But we had also had time to recover and now have the last week has all been about this game, and preparation has been good for that.
And we've noticed Kiara Keating missing from the matchday squad. Can you give us a little bit more insight as to why?
Yeah, unfortunately she picked up an injury during the last days here, so she's not available for the game.
But of course, an announcement recently, Bunny Shaw staying with the squad. How much did it mean to you to get that over the line prior to today's game?
Of course, it's a massive thing for the club, for her, for the players, for everybody, and also prove that She believes in the project, what we are trying to do here, and she wants to contribute. So, of course, it's a great thing for all of us.
And just finally, Brighton, a club that has recently beaten you. How are you going to take them on today?
No, it's a very tricky team. So important for us to stick to what we are good at. Don't end up in how they want to play the game, and being adaptable. If we do that, I think we have great opportunities.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Jenna, ridiculous numbers again for Bunny Shaw this season, like every season, but she is staying. What a boost in the build-up to this cup final for them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's absolutely massive to have that wrapped up ahead of the summer break and going into today. I think she's been absolutely phenomenal. She's kept fit all season, and, you know, those goals, 26 goals, top goal scorer, and she'll be hungry for more today.
Yet again, the division's top scorer, and part of the furniture at the back, Alex Greenwood with the captain's armband on.
Yeah, club captain Alex Greenwood was part of the squad that last lifted the FA Cup in 2020. She spoke this week about winning and wanting more and being hungry for more, and she's got that big game experience on big stages, played at Wembley with the Lionesses, lifted the Euros trophy here, so she knows what it takes as well, and again, a really, really important player for Man City this afternoon.
Well, champions, we know. 3 times they have won the Cup, Manchester City, but never in the same year as winning the WSL. They went out in the last 4 last term, and just like Brighton, in very good form. Brighton 1 defeat in their final 8 games of the season. Manchester City 1 in 9 coming into this. Well, here comes the trophy. This is what they're playing for. That is Sergeant Amber Marsh, who has the honour of bringing out the trophy today. There are 1 or 2 left in the City set-up who know what the feeling is to lift it, but for most, it's all new. The English women's season comes to a close in the grandest manner of all, the FA Cup final at Wembley, where dreams are made and dreams are dashed, and only a few have the opportunity to experience it. While we watch on, the lucky ones on the famous turf are Brighton Hove Albion and Manchester City, both here thanks to sensational comebacks in their respective semi-finals. For Brighton, it's all new. First cup final earned the hard way. They knocked out 10-time winners Arsenal in the last 8. Before that, amazing stoppage time win over Liverpool last month from 2 goals down. As for Manchester City, newly crowned champions, well, they left their comeback even later. At Stamford Bridge, they trailed the holders Chelsea by 2 with just a few minutes left, and yet here they are, looking to complete what's already been a superb campaign. Will it be a double, following on from their first Barclays WSL title in 10 years? We have the FA chair, Debbie Hewitt, MBE. Sari Rowland, 15 cup goals for Orient this term. Going to win the Mitre Golden Ball again, unless Bunny Shaw scores 11 in this final, so I think she's pretty safe. And this is all part of it, Jenna, in terms of the things that set it apart and make it special. The fact it's at Wembley, the fact you're doing a meet and greet at the beginning. Yeah,
I mean, it's such a special occasion, and you can see Dario there as he's walking out, tears in his eyes, emotional walking out there. You know, it's been a tough season for both teams, and this is a moment for celebration and reward for all their hard work this season. But yeah, you can hear the crowd out there building up. The atmosphere's been building up all morning, and as you say, the meet and greet is all part of that special occasion. Part of the emotion for Dario Vidosic. Brighton fans in some, not that section, but in a different one, are holding up a banner. His father Rado passed away in January of this year and also worked at the club in an upstairs role. So super special for him
expecting entertainment here, Jenna. We got two good teams doing good and great things this spring. They both had those amazing comebacks in the semi-finals too.
Yeah, I mean, really competitive semi-finals and such character and fight showed by both sides. And as you say, there's a lot of attacking quality out there this afternoon. I'm expecting goals and, you know, world-class players out there. So it's going to be an interesting challenge, interesting battle. Two teams that play quite similar style of football as well.
Duchess takes over with the national anthem. Just a couple of weeks before those amazing semi-finals. It's a superb league win for Brighton over City, also by 3-2. So, entertainment, here we come, please. In terms of the team news, one predictable change only for Brighton from their final league lineup with Chamaka Nadozi, as expected, back in goal. Frank Kirby scored in 2 FA Cup final wins in her Chelsea days, a 5-time winner, an obvious creative threat, while Seike and Haley have been in really good goal-scoring form of late. 26 goals this season for Golden Boot winner Bunny Shaw, including 5 in this run. The stage seems set for her today, you'd think, with Carolyn and Hemp on the flanks. The supporting act is almost as formidable. It is Clinton, not Miedemar, just in behind. Rebecca Knark sat out the final league game. She returns in defence, and so does Yamashita in goal. Kiara Keating now injured. Yamashita may well have played anyway. Clearly quite a test for Brighton here today. They defied the odds in 2023 to make it through to the semi-finals of this competition. They were a fraction away from knocking out Man United to make it to Wembley. But now you kind of feel, Jenna, they're of a level where getting to semi-finals and maybe a final seems entirely more possible. They are an ambitious club, clearly, and well-run. They were recruiting heavily last couple of years. They're a different Brighton to, say, Hope Powell's Brighton back in the day.
Yeah, I agree. I think Dario's been building a squad ready for this moment. It's happened over a couple of seasons now, and it's taken some transfer windows and getting the right people in the building. And as you say, I think as well as on the pitch, are also investing off the pitch. I think Brighton do everything so well as a club in terms of their facilities, the infrastructure, and the recent announcement of their new women's and girls building, which is huge for them. So yeah, I think they've deserved their right to be here, and it's definitely been a project that's been growing over a number of years, and Dario's been absolutely key to that.
Mel Berg in the rev, Alex Greenwood and Maisie Simons, the two proud captains. Brighton's draw with Arsenal, incidentally, at the start of this month is actually the result that confirmed Manchester City's title. Brighton probably won't be expecting any gratitude on the field. Not just that brilliant last gasp win from 2 down against Liverpool in the semi-final, but Vidicic and his team were superb in knocking out Arsenal, totally deserved it in the last 8. So they know they absolutely can mix it with the best. They are still an underdog. They have recently beaten Manchester City. Under the arch, almost ready to go. What an occasion. The 2026 FA Cup final, and history on offer. The first trophy for Brighton on their showpiece debut, or a first double for the newly crowned champions of England, Manchester City. Blenkild-Brown coming forward straight away. Clinton starting in there rather than Viv Miedema, who is on the bench. Venegas, who started the comeback against Liverpool, wins the first free kick of the game.
Positive action there from Venegas. First touch, first thought is to burst forward, draw in the foul, rather than playing it safe. Just looking at those aerial views, you see just how big this pitch is, and, you know, Brighton not so much used to playing at these big stadiums. They'll have to try and manage that, make sure they pick their moments. They're a high-pressing team as well, but they've got to pick their moments to press wisely to conceive some of that energy.
That's a great point. On another warm day, there will be a hydration break midway through both halves because of all the warm weather having across the UK. Bigger field, a major press, and seriously hot weather at the end of a longish season. But neither have had Europe, of course. It'll be even longer, the domestic campaign, next term with the expansion of the Barclays Women's Super League. Grace Clinton on the ball again in the middle of the park. Carolyn straight in there. Venegas with the challenge. You can see that Brighton squeeze immediately.
Yeah, they just smother in those central areas, and that's going to be key. They've got to get it right. Get the numbers in the midfield area once their press is on, and they've timed it well just to win back and turn the play over.
Venegas had actually gone ahead of everyone and now going back. Don't overdo it too soon.
It's quite easy, isn't it, to let the occasion get the better of you. And again, Brighton won't have that experience of big games in a stadium like this, and it's important they remain focused. They've had a good prep to this, both teams. Probably Man City have been celebrating a bit more, so Brighton might have that edge to prepare for this and get every single small detail correct, because it is those small details that could get it over the line for them.
They were always in that semi-final with Liverpool, although they both came back from 2 down to win 3-2. There's a parallel there, but they were very different. Brighton absolutely were a threat. They just happened to be 2 down, got one back pretty quickly, ended up winning it in the 91st minute. And Manchester City were actually nowhere near their best at Chelsea for the vast majority of the game. It's just City managed to score twice really late on. And then again, in extra time. First ball forward for the dangerous Kiko Seike, Brighton's top scorer this term all in, with 11 across the 3 competitions they've played in.
Seike and Kirby have been absolutely fantastic. That link-up play that we've seen so often this season, and Kirby dropping in just to dictate the play, pull the strings, pick out the passes.
Kirby and Haley both interested there, forcing the rushed long clearance. Minami back to Nadozi, who's not taking any risks with that one, and the very pacey Carolyn in attendance. Out for the Brazilian on this City right flank. Manchester City in their change colours. The Blues might have just clashed a bit. Jankovic, trophy winner in her time with Chelsea with Fran Kirby, albeit a little more on the fringes. Jankovic very much dropping in between Hayes and Minami to start teeing things off from the back. Bunny Shaw closing down Simons. Brighton have played round it. Forward by Charlie's Rule. Seike's interested and got there, and it's fallen here for Kirby. First half chance quickly snuffed out. That's a really important block, that, from Rose. Brighton still, but no more.
Yeah, Rose with the vital interception there. It's a great through ball to find the run of Seike. Real intent going forward from Brighton. Perfectly weighted pass there. And then it falls kindly just behind Greenwood. Kirby with the shot off. Seike picks up the spills again, and then, as you say, Jade Rose with a vital interception very early on.
Seike scored in the league win over City the other day. Frank Kirby has been a thorn in their side on many an occasion in a different shade of blue. Hasn't actually scored many this season. Only 4. One of them in the FA Cup at West Ham.
I think the stats might be there, but the impact she has on games is huge. I think she's so key to this team, so clever, so intelligent, and she's also that calm head, you know, she's never panicking.
Ollie Slager's bending one in, and a welcome, I'm sure, first touch of the gloves for Miyake Yamashita.
Coming out demanding the box there, just to calm it down. Brighton enjoying a bit of possession in that final third now, and Man City have the experience just to calm it down, get the passes back in.
It's an early opener at West Ham for Kirby in the round of 16. Absolutely, though, she has changed her game. Obviously, as prolific a goal poacher as anyone, Bunny Shaw included in her absolute prime. Ridiculous goals for Reading before moving to Chelsea. Saw her mark of 116 Chelsea goals equalled in her final appearance by Sam Kerr.
She spoke a lot this week about just enjoying this occasion and, you know, being in it. She never really took it all in as a younger player. Now a bit older, a bit wiser. These opportunities might not come around again for a player of her age, and she's just been soaking it all in, the build-up, and yeah, really relishing this opportunity.
One coach, a bit more experienced than the other. Dario Vidicic ending his second season in England. Andre Yeglet's, well, great first season. Could do what Sonia Bonpastor did last term, arrive in the English game and win the double. Bonpastor, of course, made it a treble.
That through ball there to Seike's been part of the plan, I think, for Brighton. You can see when Nak's got her facing her own goal, Seike's braving down her neck. I think for a foot race, she'll get the better of her every time.
Let's see if that's a theme that continues, but yeah, they've definitely tried it 3 times already in these opening minutes. Clinton in towards Shaw. Brilliantly done, much like the hold-up play that brought the equalising goal in the penalty box at Stamford Bridge. Took it like that, swiveled and scored, and then a header in the 103rd minute in extra time. 2 of the 26 this season.
She had spells where she had not much to do in that Chelsea game. Wasn't getting a lot of service. It looked like, you said, they were down and out, and then late on in the game they came back to life, and Bunny Shaw, 2 opportunities and 2 goals. That's what she brings, that clinical edge. She doesn't need a hat. Too many chances. And I think Brighton would have done their homework again on her, and not many teams manage this season to nullify her, but it's got to be key that they can't allow her any space or time in and around that box.
Charlie's rule. The Aussie at right back. One of a few players on this field and in these squads involved, as actually almost all of them were from the WSL in the Asia Cup final. Japan beating Australia. 18 of the 22 players who started the Asia Cup final are WSL players. Incredible. It's the place to be. It's Jankovic, the Serb. By Rebecca Knapp. What an excellent signing she's been for Manchester City the last couple of years. A lot of change back there. Smith Morgan departing, Steph Horton retired, Kennedy went. There was a spell when Greenwood was injured and Knapp was brought in, and latterly Jade Rose as well. Really good.
Yeah, a lot of change, and obviously the new manager coming in at the beginning of the season. It's difficult to hit the ground running, but it looks like Andre Jaglets has fitted in straight away. The players have bought into his style of play, what he wants to do, and that longer-term picture. And it's remarkable that, you know, in a time where the WSL is as competitive as it is, and you can't afford to drop points or not be at your best, to pick up the WSL title in your first season is something that Man City have tried time and time again. You know, haven't done it in 10 years. To do it in your first season is remarkable.
Opening night, his team lost to Chelsea, and then they won 13 league games in a row. Absolutely incredible. Not a record. They lost number 14 to Arsenal when they were about to level it.
Well, I guess it's some way to start his WSL career against Chelsea, wasn't it? The champions' first taste of what it takes and the level of competitiveness in the WSL.
Venegas has been busy early on here. Next to Rose and Knut, Kirsten Kasper has been a perma presence at right back. Went out of play, I think. Haley beaten to it, but there's Venegas again. She's seeing a lot of action already. Grace Clinton and Kasperite also.
Yeah, she's pushing really high up that wide area. Been very positive. I think Brighton have started the game very, very well. Enjoyed a lot of the ball, which I think just wipes away those nerves that they might have been feeling. When you get on the ball, you're having successful passes, moving up the pitch. It will help that confidence and that mentality.
Yeah, I'd imagine if you're an underdog and you just spend the first 12 minutes just chasing around, you're probably not going to feel as settled as if you're having multiple touches. And you think, we've seen Seike and Kirby and Haley get touches. We haven't really mentioned Lauren Hemp, barely mentioned Bunny Shaw. Carolyn's been mostly doing defensive duty. So it's not translated into chances yet, although Yamashita and Haley then in a 50-50. There's an empty net! There's an empty net! Guarded brilliantly by Captain Greenwood, and now Yamashita gets the attention she wanted, but the whistle had not gone.
No, play on, and Greenwood, luckily Greenwood and Knack hadn't stopped play. They were still alert to the danger of both players tracking back, getting onto the line. There you see, Haley's not going to give it up at all. Yamashita, she has to come out for it, and Haley can't back out of it there. And there it is, the little shot with the outside of the foot, and excellent from Greenwood. Couldn't afford to switch off. Just look at it again.
Yeah, I think she's entirely within her rights to go for that. The collision it's inevitable. She got the first touch on it, Janet.
Got the first touch. She's driving at speed, and so's Yamashita coming out. So it's going to be a painful one, but as you say, I think Haley had absolutely every right. No forward player is ever going to pull out of that.
Now, Chiara Keating, who remains a young keeper, but obviously we've seen loads of her since her teenage days, has been at times in her City career irregular, but she is not available today. A problem, if there is a problem for Yamashita here, who is clearly distressed, Bertha Cummings, the young keeper on the bench, and did play the final day of the WSL season against West Ham. Can you imagine?
Well, she's just checking her shoulder there, having a look. Does she need to get ready? I think you're hoping that it's just Yamashita's just winded there. She's on her feet. Might just need a minute or so. Bertha Cummings. What an opportunity here for her to come onto an FA Cup final.
Well, the Scot is watching on in case she needs to replace the Asia Cup winning keeper. You don't want to be going off here unless you really have to.
See, she's trying to shake it off. She does look uncomfortable out there. Almost holding her hip, I think.
Well, it was her debut the other day. Played 7 times for Scotland over the last few years, Cummings, and well, you've always got to be ready as a keeper, even though you know 99% of the time it's for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, this is the life of a goalkeeper, isn't it? You could go months, seasons without playing, but when the moment comes, you've got to be ready to grab it. She'll be more than ready. The coaches would have prepared her for this occasion. It was known before the game that Keaton obviously picked up the knock, so she's had time with her team, with her coaches, for every scenario they would cover.
And Yamashita herself was missing on the final day. Cummings and Keating are the 2 keepers in the squad. And Yamashita in pain, and then grateful to her captain for being there in the nick of time. Brighton, who have started the better here, definitely. So nearly shot first. Lengthy delay. Molly-Starger's trying to get back and fouling Blinkhilde-Brown, and a rare chance for City's players to get up the field here.
Yes. Feels like it's starting to heat up out there. You see just the shoulder on, arm on the shoulder there from Molly-Starger's.
Blinkhilde-Brown to bide her time, but has been a regular in that midfield next to Hasegawa this term. He arrived a couple of years back as a young hopeful from Aston Villa. Lauren Hemp trying to get her first meaningful touch. It's the first one instead for Chimakanadozi. Out the way, Carolyn.
Hemp there, just being a pest, not giving the ball up at all, and then just causing that moment of confusion. With Andozi, comes out but can't keep hold of it. Does eventually, but it's like Man City, maybe that's a little wake-up call for them. Bring them back into life.
Great AFCON with Nigeria. 4th in the Ballon d'Or Keeper of the Year. Tamaka Natosi in the competition, a contest should I say. It was won actually by another WSL keeper, Hannah Hampton. Got that, the Chelsea goalkeeper. Madison Haley in form. Scored 2 of Brighton's goals in that comeback win over City. The season purple patch. A goal in the final day game against Tottenham. 3 in the cup run. Out of nothing, really. She's laid it off neatly for Kirby here, and now takes her place in the middle. Jankovic. Not going to out-sprint Carolyn. She out-fox her here. Back to Kirby, head up. It's a dangerous thing. Simons. And again, Maisie Simons, lovely move. Rose with another important block.
It all just looked too easy there for Brighton. Just little give and goes, passing around the Man City defenders, and it was Rose again with a really important block. So positive from Brighton. I think their movement in that final third, the rotations in positions, has been excellent. Man City out of possession, look quite relaxed at the minute.
Two really good teams to watch generally on a week-to-week basis. And, well, the call from Brighton coach and fans alike was to be brave and do what we do. Believe we can hurt them. They are. Your only worry for them would be they've absolutely outplayed Man City for 20 minutes here, but they haven't got in front. And at some point, as usually happens in these favourites versus underdogs, City will have their spell or spells.
It's definitely important that they start to capitalise on these moments, on these opportunities. So I think when you're playing against a team like Man City, they're not going to come very often.
Another nearly moment there as Kirby won it high, and you can hear her out there and see her cajoling others, telling them when to go and when to stay. Hasegawa, the glue in the City midfield. So good. Lovely ball put to Caroline. Here's Kasparek. Caroline had kept on running. Challenge from Molly Sluggers.
Really good, had to be strong. She knows that if Caroline gets past her, she's not going to be able to catch her. She's got to use her body, use her strength. Really well worked. I think out of possession, Brighton have been fantastic. There you see again, Frank Kirby, just arms up, just saying, calm down, everybody calm down. I think she's, you know, she's almost like a coach out there, coaching the players, the younger players around her. I think on occasions like this, that's exactly what you need out there, because it's going to be loud. You're not going to be able to hear the manager.
That's Lauren Hem on the left wing, on the ball, albeit momentarily, for the first time in this final. There she is again. Be happy to have a bit of possession in the Brighton half, but Venegas onto it quickly, and Jankovic as well. And here come Brighton again. The ball's on for Venegas. Tight angle. Probably not worth the shot.
The first touch from Venegas almost took her a little bit wide. You needed that first touch to go across the defender into the penalty box. First touch goes a little bit wide, and it allows the recovering defender to get back into position, and she has to play backwards. Here you see sloppy from Caroline, loses possession, and the intent for the Brighton players to get forward. Venegas busting her gut there out on the left-hand side, and here you see just that first touch, too straight. It allows, I think it's Rose, to just stand her up.
And then this was very ambitious from the captain, especially a captain who lets the others do the scoring usually. It's been a season without a goal for Maisie Simons. That's why Manchester City were suggesting they might have had a free kick. Foot got trodden on there for Caroline.
Venegas again not giving her an inch. She's been really on it, hasn't she? Winning her duels, and then the first ball, every time she wins the ball, is get forward and support.
Timely. Such a thing can never be the case, as we have the little hydration break. And Andre Yeglitz will be happy for that. You wouldn't be surprised if there was a little change after this. Breaks, whether that's because of injuries or this or goals, can often bring a little reset. And right now, he and his team need one.
Definitely, I think. If you're looking at Brighton, I think it might be they've had a lot of possession, they've had a lot of energy, getting bodies forward. They might just need to sit back a little bit, but you don't really want to change the way you're playing because you're having a lot of luck like that. But as for Man City, this is an opportunity to get around the players. Got to start turning up now. There's far too sloppy, far too passive, I think, on and off the ball.
No question, they're a little fortunate to still be on terms here. It's a cliche in football, but in this heat, I don't expect that Brighton intensity. It is possible to do this for 90, well, maybe even 120 minutes, but Venegas very much the fire starter. Really combative Colombian, absolutely full of beans.
I think it's so positive because you talked at the beginning of the show about having to be brave and not letting this occasion get to them, and we've not seen any nerves out there at all from Brighton. You know, they're up for this. They're not here just to take part. They're up for this. They know they've got that mentality from beating Man City before, pulling off big results against the top teams this season, that they can on their day beat any team.
Caroline seems okay. Shooter still not looking great, and Jade Rose is going to restart us here. Look at that. Better than 60-40.
Spozzies around it, isn't it, Brighton, in that midfield area. They're winning the first. If they're not winning the first, they definitely are winning the second. Balls in there.
Good hold up from Haley. Kirby's first touch was good. Oh, it's just in behind Ollie Slagers, who'd made that run in from the left. Playing further forward these days.
Yeah, I think the Man City defender there just tracked her time. It was Hemp there. Just gets in at the nick of the time. Don't know whether she was actually going for a shot there, Kirby. But actually the touch from Hemp has put it into the feet of Ollie Slagers, who can't control it.
Tried to take it on the spin because it was awkward and behind her, and if she had, she was absolutely in. Can they make this? Excellent work count. Dominated the opening quarter of this final, Brighton. Nothing to show for it. Here's Minami at the back. Another who's had a really good season, Kiko Seike. Japanese international colleagues all over this field, up against one another today. Ollie Slagers tucking in now. Venegas. City doing all the chasing around. And Brighton with the ball. Really impressive start.
Venegas getting up again. Defensively excellent, but also in those attacking areas has been really, really good. Overloading, joining her teammates.
Hasegawa took a risk. Huge moment here, and a huge save as the follow-up balloons over from Seike. And Man City had got out of jail there. Frank Kirby couldn't make it count. The wisest, smartest, coolest head usually.
Yeah, this time Seike working hard to repossess the defender there. Frank Kirby, you wanted to take the shot on early. She decides to take the touch across Yamashita, but excellent from Yamashita. She gets out, makes herself really big. That was the moment there. That was a huge, huge moment. And you want that ball to fall at the feet of Frank Kirby there. Big moment again for Brighton, but again, I think it was Hasegawa there, caught in possession again, and the press from Brighton was spot on.
One of England's finest ever at the sharp end there. What an opportunity. Otherwise, it was all about those Japanese international colleagues. Hasegawa had her pocket picked by Kiko Seike, and Yamashita came to her rescue. City rattled, no question, but still on terms. Despite all the opportunities in this FA Cup final going the way of Brighton. And again, this time it's Minami stepping up.
Yeah, Clinton this time just back to the defender, gets her touch in. They're on everything, Brighton. Every single player knows their job, knows the press. When the player presses, they then just smother that midfield area. You see again.
It's relentless. And Hasegawa this time just boots it upfield. That's all she can do. Shaw can't keep it. Here's Hayes. Rose stepping in. They've got to make it count, though, you feel here, Brighton.
Yeah, they've got to, and I think the pressure's on Man City. You can see they're rattled. They've got to keep this bit of energy up and smell the blood. But now they've just got to make these opportunities count, find that clinicalness that we've seen so often from them.
Well, he said he had one or two plans up his sleeve. Dario Vidicic has already got the better of Andre Yeglets, as we've said recently. I mean, he'll be absolutely thrilled with how they're playing and gutted that they haven't got a one next to their name as a result of it.
Certainly created the opportunities. I think looking nearly 30 minutes in, I'm not sure Bunny Shaw's had too much of the ball at all. Not caused any problems to the Brighton's backline.
Carolyn effectively right wing, Hemp left wing, Bunny Shaw centre forward. They've, in terms of attacking touches, nothing. Credit to Brighton. Wingfielder Brown coming short and then going long. Trying to change the momentum, just overhitting it for Lauren Hemp.
It's a good idea, but it's not working for them playing out the back. I think Brighton had pounced in and almost setting them out into a trap that Man City are so well known to do, and they're getting the better of them. So that's good play. It's not always on. Why not, when you've got the pace of Hemp and Kerry-Lynn, play over the top, turn the Brighton defence, make them uncomfortable.
Absolutely. You wouldn't be surprised at all if they were managed to make that count, City. They're all squeezing up, bypassed a lot of them. Knark. Greenwood. Now Hemp seeing it. She'd like to see it, and it's a great turn from Lauren Hemp. Clinton. Kasparov joining in. Venegas as ever, tightly in attendance. Lovely dummy. Olislavas didn't fall for the second one from Kerry-Lynn. Tried the little chop. It's a very impressive half hour from Brighton, the first-time finalists. Foul against Kiko Seike on Alex Greenwood, who's been around the block, knows how to get those ones.
This time it was Brighton going route one, no need to play through it. Spotted the runner, Seike. Alex Greenwood felt the touch. That could have been a really difficult position she found herself in. Great ball over the top by Simmons, spotting that run again in that right-hand side. That looks on, and I think Seike, the pace that she possesses, there's not many defenders that can keep up with her. She's been key part of this Brighton's game plan, I think, this season, isolating Seike with defenders.
And adding plenty of goals too. They had Charlotte Germain, England international, on loan from Arsenal, who had a few goals early on, and then suffered the dreaded ACL injury. So Seike has really stepped up into double figures for goals.
Hayes didn't know too much about that pass there. Luckily for her, it's come off the back of her heel. Could see Bunny Shaw just hanging on her shoulder, ready to make the run. But again, teammates can't find Bunny Shaw, can't get her involved.
She is one of those forwards, Shaw. Not one that's always involved in all aspects of the game, and yet scores as many goals as she does. And you would not be remotely surprised as she puffs out her cheeks here. A pretty thankless half hour or so of running about. Wouldn't be surprised at all if suddenly a ball's in the box and then the ball's in the back of the net, because that's what she does, right?
Absolutely, that's what world-class strikers do, don't they? They don't have to be involved in the game, but they can produce that moment of magic. We saw that in the semi-final against Chelsea. You know, she didn't have a lot of the ball at all. Man City looked down and out, and then she pops up with a remarkable goal. Everything's against her, back to goal, defenders everywhere. She finds the back of the net, and then she scores the winning goal in extra time to get her team here. That's what she does, and that's why she's a world-class striker.
Seike fouled by Greenwood, the other way round this time. There's 21 league goals for Bunny Shaw amongst those 26, the other 5 in this FA Cup. It is a third straight golden boot for Shaw. Haley trying to hold off Rose, who did her job very well. Kasparov comes to help complete the tidying up job. Rose and Knark and Greenwood in particular have already done, and Yamashita of course behind them, a lot of important work in this game. You think Hayes, Minami back there, been stretched yet, but the game is young, at least an hour to go, and there you go. Bunny Shaw sucks in Caitlin Hayes and then leaves her, pokes it forward here. Clinton, well, it's the first save of any real note from Jamaica Nadosian. It was as easy as they come, but there is your reminder.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what a first touch from Bunny Shaw there. Lets it roll across. I think Hayes jumps out of position, leaves the space for Clinton to run into, and it's a weak shot. It's a comfortable save, an easy save for Ndozi, but as you say, that's a reminder.
They come again now with Hemp. Shaw! Double reminder, 10 minutes to half-time. Manchester City just start to bare the teeth.
There, great work. Cuts it back to Shaw, just opens her body, almost passes it into the goal with the inside of the foot. And Dozie again gets down early, comfortable save. That looks like Man City are finding their rhythm now.
Well, their efforts on target, even if they haven't overly stretched Dozie. You felt they couldn't be so passive for the entire half. Sure enough, waking up into the contest there. Rose Clinton only scored one league goal in her debut City campaign. Had that chance a moment ago. There she is again. In the Miedemar role today, a little more box-to-box than that, arguably, but has the licence to go. Ideally up the middle.
Glad she's out there today. She was part of the Tottenham squad that made the FA Cup final. She was pivotal in getting them to the FA Cup final, but unfortunately she was cup tied, so she never got to experience, you know, what it's like to play at FA Cup final. So yeah, she's been patient, and obviously she hasn't had that much game time this season at Man City after her move, and yeah, good to see her out there.
Yes, that Spurs final was against Manchester United, from whom she was on loan, and then crossed the divide. Jess Park went in the other direction. Here's Casper Wright, who's put in a lot of brilliant crosses this term from that right flank. Kirsten Casper Wright has been a real source of goals for City in the assist department. Lauren Hemp now just starting to see more of it, and the kind of positions she'd like to get it in, and we're used to seeing her in, and they're getting on with the throwing as well here, Manchester City. Hemp again. Out the way, Charlize Rule. Greenwood. Deep. Keeper was the shout, but it's in from you-know-who. Of course it's Bunny Shaw. Living dangerously at one end, soaking up pressure, getting out of jail even. And yet it is City who strike first at Wembley. Dozie called for it, Bunny Shaw got it. Brighton 0, Manchester City 1.
You almost knew the moment that ball left Hemp's foot, that delivery into the 6-yard box. Bunny Shaw was hovering. She doesn't even look like she's made any effort to get up and meet the header. She's got defenders around her, and Dozie's come, but she's rose higher than everyone again. Good body there from Hemp, and then Greenwood.
Dozie, talking to the referee here, I'm not seeing a foul there. Remember, we do have VAR here. Paul Howard is on duty. You seeing anything there, Jenna?
Absolutely not. I think, and Dozie's backpedaling. I don't think she's aware Bunny Shaw's coming in. She's not checked her shoulder at all. She's backpedaling. Bunny Shaw just rose higher than her. Just have a look at it again from a different angle.
There's no foul there. That's
no foul at all.
A strong header from a great Greenwood cross. And worst fears confirmed for Dario Vidosic. Playing brilliantly, absolutely the game plan, couldn't find the finishing touch. No one finds that touch better than Bunny Shaw. Yet another goal to go with the new contract.
And that's what she does. We spoke about her not really being involved at all, and the ball from Greenwood was a fantastic one. Your wing back getting high up the pitch, that's where they've been so dangerous this season, and yeah, she just rose so high there. Trademark Bunny Shaw goal.
What a bursting of the balloon for Brighton just before half-time. Been so good, so much the better side. Just the last 5 minutes, Man City coming into it. And when you've got the best around, they give you quality when you need it. It's a brilliant cross from Greenwood.
It's the first time we've really seen Greenwood push that high and get in those areas, and Casper as well on the other side. Such a big part of their game, and the reason that Casper had such a good season is defensively excellent, but when she's going forward, you know, those stats are incredible. So yeah, good to see Greenwood pressing high as well, and she's got a wand of a left foot and a excellent delivery into the box. And you know, when you've got a player like Bunny Shaw, who can just hover in the 6-yard box, you just need to put it in the mixer and she'll just do the work.
Great hang time from the centre forward. We could all hear via the effects microphone the call from Ndozi, keepers. Didn't jump as well. It's Jamaica 1, Nigeria 0 there. How hard will it be, do you think, Jennifer, Brighton here to just keep thinking about the fact, well, we're playing well, we're doing the right things, what we were doing has been working up to a point, and yet having had that kick in the teeth?
Yeah, I don't think they need to panic. They've just got to try and relax again, play how they've been playing, get back on the ball, that possession. But we said it at the top of the show, you know, when you're up against a Man City team and you are creating those chances, you've got to capitalise on them, because the momentum will swing. You know, it only takes one opportunity. We've seen it there, Bunny Shaw. Man City have got quality players. Brighton have to find a way to find that edge, that moment of magic.
Nice take from Haley. They've got plenty of experience, not just Kirby in their team. So, need some wise words and some calming words. Hasegawa generally provides a calming influence from central midfield for Manchester City. Just brilliantly mopping up important unsung jobs in the middle of the park.
They've been in positions where they've been behind, and they've got that character and that resilience to get themselves back into the game. They've got the players, the personalities out there. They'll plan for this, for going down, and how they might have to change their game plan to get back in it.
2 down, of course, in the semi-final, but that was Liverpool. Here's Kirby. Knark across on the cover. Corner to Brighton, and they made them count in that semi-final against Liverpool.
Really good defending there from Knark. Had to get across. Kirby got the run on the better side of Jade Rose. Jade Rose couldn't challenge her. She knew she was in the box. Had to let her play, but Nat gets across really, really well.
Now, just wondering where Venegas might appear from. It was just when they went 2-0 down in that semi-final to Liverpool. Very quickly, Brighton got a corner, and Venegas got on the end of it. Almost as soon as they'd gone 2 behind, it was 1 behind again. Kirby delivers deep. Yamashita through the crowd. That's a good punch, actually. There's a lot of traffic in front of her.
Yeah, good contact just to punch the ball out of the danger zone. Give her teammates a chance to get up, push up, get out of the box.
Jankovic and Simons back there with Oli Slagers from the defensive point of view of their offensive corner. Oli Slagers, Venegas still part of the attack, the Colombian, into Kirby. That'll do, wins the throw from Cass Bryan, gets it to Venegas here. Rule under pressure from him. Caitlin Hayes here. Towering header of her own, Caitlin Hayes, in that quarter-final winner over Arsenal. Kirby didn't want to go with a high boot there and left it, and then might have been regretting it had it got through to Bunny Shaw, but it didn't. Here's Jankovic into the final minute of normal time, but we've had obviously the hydration break, and we've had that fairly long chunk of time for Yamashita to be seen to. Here's Kiko Seike for Brighton, nice feet. Oli Slagers, Venegas, they're moving it well again here, Brighton. Venegas goes for glory, finds the keeper's gloves instead.
Yeah, she never really connects well with that at all, almost kicks it into the ground, takes all the pace, the sting out of the ball. There you see, she's eyeing up the shot. No real pace on it at all to travel Yamashita, but Good move, Seike again, just switching up the tempo of the game. Still, they can't find the back of the net.
Well, there you go, 7 added minutes. That's not a surprise at all. Too much for some already, apparently.
Might be the heat.
How often do you see it in a game of football of any level, anywhere? The team has done everything right, except the most important thing. I don't think Brighton could have played this half any better. Just their keeper could have dealt with that situation better. That's it. One moment. Haley fouled though. Still plenty of stoppage time to go here. Greenwood involved again. Quite often treads a path pretty close to that line, does Alex Greenwood.
Yeah, just trying to get something on the ball. Split contact on Haley. I think when you're playing against a Man City team in a big game like this, it does come down to small moments, small margins, and switching off, and it only takes one player to switch off for a second and you find yourself behind. And I think that's what's happened to this Brighton team. They've been near enough perfect with and without the ball this afternoon.
The two former Chelsea players in attendance there, Jankovic and Kirby. In swing, out swing. Almost everyone else is in the D. Jankovic, too close.
There we go. Challenge comes out, claims the ball. I think those are the moments you want to make count for Brighton. Ball delivered in, straight into the arms of the goalkeeper, no challenge at all. Easy claim for Yamashita.
Whether they play brilliantly or poorly or somewhere in between, Manchester City generally score. They had a couple of very rare blanks at the end of the season. It was a 0-0 with Villa and the defeat to Arsenal. It was 2 shutouts in 3 games, as many as they had had in the previous 78. A goal machine indeed, and a goal machine that will be staying Manchester City colours. You could feel the tension, I think, around the women's game when the talk was that Chelsea were going to come in and nab her. That would have been some nab.
Oh, there's no way she could have gone anywhere but stay at Man City after the consistent season she's had. You almost, Man City, give her what you want, keep hold of her and build from it now. You've got your first WSL title in 10 years. You've got one of the best players in the world. Keep hold of her, build on and keep that train going. Can't afford to be giving up players like Bunny Shaw to your main competitors.
Just got a little burst there of that Kiko Seike pace again, and that is definitely an avenue they will continue to pursue, or should do, Brighton. As Jenna pointed out, she's got the run on Knapp, absolutely hands down. Makes the job of Greenwood, who's also obviously no spring chicken anymore, even more important. Now Carolyn's pinched it, 4 minutes into first half stoppage time. 1-0 feels like a bit of a robbery, 2 would be an outrage. Won't stop them getting it, and that's a foul. Bunny Shaw slipped it out of her feet, felt the contact. Low pile driver should be coming up here, I think.
Yeah, Simmons there with the challenge, just on the edge of the D. Initially, Brighton had recovered well to smother Carolyn. There you see Bunny Shaw just using her body, using that strength to protect the ball. Max committed the foul, she's gone down, committed it, and this is a dangerous area to concede.
Nadozie may need to atone here. 2-0 would be unthinkable on what we've witnessed. When they're this close, as we know, the up and down is difficult. The low smash feels like the percentage shot, not least because if it just flicks off someone's ankle in that wall, there's no way anyone's reacting in time. Carolyn got the opener at Brighton in the league meeting last month before they succumbed to defeat. Alex Greenwood takes a lot of the set pieces. The touch and whack for the skipper. Let's see. Bottom right corner looks inviting. Huge moment here at Wembley. Greenwood finds it! 6 minutes into stoppage time at Wembley. Alex Greenwood, the City skipper, doubles the Champions lead. And the double is on.
Oh, it's almost cruel, isn't it, for Brighton? But Alex Greenwood, a magician, the wonder of the left foot. Set-piece specialist, almost the inside of the boot, into the bottom corner, and Dozy gets down. You thought she claimed it, but it's almost bounced underneath her into the bottom corner. There you see, she's curled it into the corner, and Dozy's down. I think Jade Rose there does excellent job of just blocking Ndozi. Nearly comes off her back there. Dozy gets down there and it just somehow sneaks past her into the bottom corner.
She may have scraped her fingertip on it. Hasegawa's in the way initially of the shot. Absolute heartbreak for Brighton. In a moment they're going to be trudging off this pitch and wondering just how on earth they are 2 goals down.
Well, it's not a true reflection, is it, of the game so far this first half. That Brighton have played some excellent football, but all that matters is that 2-0 in the corner of the screen there. Man City, very professional job.
Well, Bunny Shaw is still a City player and will continue to be. She scored the opening goal, she won the free kick that Greenwood dispatched so well. And having been second best for the vast majority of this first half, the English champions are in prime position to lift the FA Cup as well. They lead Brighton somehow by 2-0 at half-time. Well, a huge occasion, and we've seen an elongated and fascinating first half, full of good things and full of Brighton quality. Jenna Schillaci there right from the off at Man City, and they were looking the dangerous ones. That was Kirby.
They started on the front foot. Seiki was at the heart of it, beating Man City defenders for pace, and I think it was Jade Rose came to the rescue. It was an inch-perfect pass for Seiki. And there it is. It falls to Fran Kirby. Jade Rose with a vital interception.
Madison Haley here did not give that up, even if Rose did, and collided with Yamashita. The whistle did not go. Ollie Sluggers with the shot, and Captain Greenwood, who would have an even bigger moment later in the half, having a very big one for Manchester City there.
Yeah, Haley gets the first touch. There's no way she's giving that up. Yamashita, brave, comes out, takes the knock, and then Ollie Sluggers with the outside of her butt, just trying to curl it into the near corner, and Greenwood saves the day.
Well, the Brighton press was working constantly, and it was Venegas who's been excellent. Just pushed a little wide here by her first touch after Cankovic had found her. It ends up here with a very ambitious shot from Maisie Simons.
Yeah, it was the turnover again. Brighton dispossessing Man City, then throwing bodies forwards. The Venegas had busted a gut to get there, and it was a very ambitious attempt for Simons.
As you can see, all Brighton with the closing down. And, Hasegawa, pocket picked. Little reverse ball from Cankovic, and Fran Kirby denied by Yamashita before Kiko Seike put it over the bar. At this point you started thinking, this is going to come back and bite you.
There's no doubt Brighton were on top there, and it was the press. Kirby started it. Kirby just takes that touch across Yamashita.
This was a lovely take from Shaw though. Caitlin Hayes overcommitted. And Grace Clinton.
All about the first touch from Bunny Shaw, just opens her body, breezes past Hayes, who leaves the gap. There you see it, unbelievable first touch, and then Clinton makes the run into the space. So it's a weak shot in the end, and a comfortable save from Mendoza.
And this was all in and around and after the half-hour mark, as Bunny Shaw had a chance just coming up straight after that there from Lauren Hemp. This is the first time we'd seen City doing any attacking.
Yeah, Hemp just linking up with Bunny Shaw again, opens up, tries to pass it into the corner of the net.
And then Hemp involved again there, great strength, and look at the cross from Alex Greenwood-Hill. Couple of touches. Now Nadozi shouted keeper, and I think you're right, Jenna, maybe she didn't know Shaw was coming, but you've got to expect someone's going to be.
Yeah, excellent ball, good work initially from Hemp, links up with Greenwood, and brilliant ball into the six-yard box, and Dozy doesn't know that Bunny Shaw's coming in at that back post, and she rises high, she hangs in the air, and it's a simple nod in for her. You see Andozi there, just backpedaling, not aware of her surroundings.
Yeah, the Nigerian keeper got about a foot off the floor. Bunny Shaw was up a couple of feet higher than that. The 27th goal in all competitions this season. And then again, Brighton doing good things, Haley, and then Kiko Seike. Ollie Sluggers finding Venegas. That's the wrong corner.
Seike's been at the heart of every good intention that Brighton have had, just switching up the tempo of play, starting the forward runs, the moves. And there, Venegas has been vital as well.
And then a foul on Shaw inside the D, deep into stoppage time. And Alex Greenwood, the left back, with an assist and a brilliant Wembley moment for her own goal.
We said she was going to have a big part to play today. It's a fantastic left-footed strike into the bottom corner. Bounces under Andozi, who gets across but can't keep it out. Fantastic for the captain.
All of which gives us a half-time scoreline of Brighton 0, Manchester City 2. Here you see it in numbers. Brighton had half a dozen attempts. Yamashita, her big moment was the Kirby save, and Greenwood on the line. We're completing the full set, the City skipper. Brighton have had the only corner. We haven't seen a card yet. Brighton have had more of the ball. But Manchester City have got all the goals. Well, let's have a reminder while we wait for the coaches to do their business in the dressing rooms of how these two clubs got this far.
Walsh. Thompson in pursuit, but Greenwood will get there first. Keating's clearance, Hasegawa, well, not really dealing with that. Cuthbert, now Kerr. Thompson, crowded out, but Cuthbert! And she scored! A big deflection, but Chelsea lead. Manchester City played themselves into trouble there. And Jade Rose, the unlucky player, to deflect in the shot and wrong foot the goalkeeper. Carpenter. Thompson. Now James. Keating coming for that, but she's lost it, and Kerr scores again. 2-0 to Chelsea. Kiara Keating spilling the cross. And Sam Kerr never likely to miss at that sort of range. Hemp. Now Shaw. Fowler force wide. Benet. And Fowler again here. And she scored. Well, she's only just come on. But with 3 minutes to play, Mary Fowler has given Manchester City some hope here. An excellent finish as well. And it's her first goal since returning from a long-term injury. Chelsea very deep now. Hemp. In towards Shaw, cleared by Bronze. Benet. And now Shaw! She's done it! And Manchester City with a remarkable comeback. And Bunny Shaw makes it 2-2 in added time. Chelsea look to be cruising, but Manchester City have come roaring back. High towards Shaw! And the comeback is complete. And the double dreams are very much alive. Anna Hampton playing the ball out, and it was cut out by Hasegawa. And her cross picked out Bunny Shaw. A trademark header from her to make it 3-2. Still time for Chelsea. Captain Newskin. Oh, great save by Keating, and hammered away by Greenwood. And Manchester City cling on.
From Holland, Nadozi gets it to something approaching safety. Kirby dispossessed by Bernabe. Back with Kerry Holland again. Still up her cross, and there's O'Sullivan to head it in for 1-0 Liverpool. Only 11 minutes on the clock, and the home side already in front in the semi-final. Perfectly delivered from Holland, dispatched by O'Sullivan. Holland again. Real influence in the opening stages here. Again, Brighton struggling to get the ball out of their own penalty area. Haley couldn't win it. It'll break for Bietta Olsen to thump Liverpool into a 2-goal lead. How about that for a finish? Jankovic's corner, goalkeeper stayed at home. It broke for Venegas, and she's made it 2-1 straight away. A minute after Liverpool get their second, Brighton halved the deficit. Manuela Venegas. Swinging corner again. Clear only as far as Bernabe. Oh, clever effort. So close. Really well to get the shot away here. Simons. Hold off O'Sullivan. Kirby off the post. So close to a Brighton equaliser. Faulted just enough to put Fran Kirby off here. Seike. Brighton lively at the start of the second half here. Seke trying to get away from Bernabe, managed to get a crossover. Madison Haley, 2-2. Haley on target in the cup again. Her third goal of the competition brings Brighton level. Rose above Shimuzu. Now Chilag can put Minami under some pressure here. She's done more than that, she's run it off, but got Enderby waiting for a cutback as well. Chilag goes alone and Nadozie saves. Did she pick the right option there? Now 5 minutes of stoppage time was signalled. They are almost up. Simon's free kick. Oh, it's dropped here for Nordam to send Brighton to Wembley. What a moment to get her first goal for the club. The substitute off the bench to win it surely. What a semi-final. And it's Brighton who go through.
Well, who's deciding the tactics here? Viv Miedema or Andre Eglerts? The champions have a 2-goal cushion, improbably. Dario Vidicic and Brighton have such a task here, but not because they've been outplayed. Just had a couple of moments, City. And the best take advantage of them, and they are the best, and they have done that. But, Alex Greenwood on a one-woman mission for the Player of the Match award, I think. A brilliant goal line clearance, an assist for the first goal with a super cross, and then a brilliant free kick. I don't think you can do much better than that with the armband on at Wembley. This is the stuff for her of which dreams are made, but 45 minutes to see it through, 45 minutes for Brighton to score 2 unanswered goals. How on earth are they going to do that, Jenna Schillaci?
They've got to try and find a healthy balance. They've got to be brave. They've got to go for it and get themselves back in it. But I think the more they go and throw themselves at it, the game's going to open up. And we've already seen the quality that Man City have in attack in Bunny Shaw, who can create something out of absolutely nothing. So they've got to find a healthy balance, keep themselves in the game, but they're going to have to find a way now and be a lot more clinical, because they can create the chances, but they haven't been able to find that edge.
1 down against City in the league meeting, ended up winning it 3-2, and as we know, 2 down in the semi-final, albeit at St Helens against Liverpool, not at Wembley against Manchester City. They found a way then too. And let's hope, for the sake of the neutral and the contest, that they can channel all of that good stuff into what they have to do here. Jankovic on the charge. Shaw. Totally done for Carolyn. Look at the hard work from Venegas there. No change, by the way, from either coach, and I don't think he'd have necessarily expected that. I'm sure we will see Miedema, probably for Clinton at some point, to help control it if it is still at this point, but you wouldn't change any Brighton players, would you, Jenna, because they played really well?
Definitely not. I think it's business as usual for them. I think if you're looking at those small details, you know, that's why they find themselves 2-0 down, but the next goal is going to be absolutely huge, and Brighton have to make sure it's theirs. Yep.
When it's 2-0, the next one is game on or game over, and that is the case here. Jamaica Nadozie, I'm sure, will be desperate for her teammates upfield to help her feel a little bit better. Possible question mark on the free kick, a definite one on the opener. Yamashita with one really important intervention, that one-on-one when Kirby was going down on goal. Lost their last final, Manchester City. Here, after extra time against Chelsea. It's another 3-2. They won the other three they've been in, 2017, 19 and 20, albeit that one was delayed and not in front of anybody. That was extra time as well, they beat Everton. Gareth Taylor was in charge. 5 seasons in charge, Gareth Taylor. Did win one of each domestic cup, but kept on being runner-up. Zeke, Kirby. Shut down quickly by Blinkilda Brown, and Lauren Hemp eats up the yards. Bunny Shaw couldn't really get out of the way there and get away from the defenders.
Yeah, it was a 2v5 there in that moment, and Lauren Hemp and Bunny Shaw just on different pages there. It's not something you say often, but you get a glimpse of Lauren Hemp's pace there. She just eats up the pitch and get it to Brighton. They get the bodies back, and they're still disciplined in their defending.
Very neatly dealt with by Jade Rose there, with Madison Haley hoping for a minute she might get in behind. Minami. Really good year for club and country. Minami came from Roma in the summer. It's been an instant fit and an instant hit for Brighton. Saka versus Greenwood has been a constant battle from minute 1 in this FA Cup final.
Yeah, it's been great to watch. Venegas and Caroline as well, battling out on the other side of the pitch. I don't think Saka can have too much to complain about in that challenge.
Regular again, Alex Greenwood, as she almost always has been. Last season was curtailed by injury issues, but otherwise part of the furniture. Carolyn here, good work, awkward ball. I think Caitlin Hayes got a piece of that as Hemp wins it back. Manchester City looking for number 3. Very nearly getting it.
Yeah, Hayes, really awkward header there. I think it gets a touch off of her, but I don't think she knows where the ball is, and then Raw comes charging out. Dozy claiming she didn't get a touch on it. Angle a little bit too tight there for Hemp.
That was given as a foul, actually. In the end, the push by Hemp, given when Dozy's just taken that from. Nobody knew that at the time. That would have needed a check had it gone in the back of the net. Hasegawa into Hemp again, who's very much come into this final, and Bunny Shaw as well. So strong out the way, Minami, and actually a really disappointing ball. Bunny Shaw trying to roll it into the path of Carolyn there. This is a really good cup final.
It's end-to-end. Venegas there, just with the heavy touch. She was on her way.
Manchester City's men victorious here in a far more dull affair against Chelsea a couple of weeks back. And his team, one way and another, have given us plenty to enjoy here, and so has his, but not in the way he would have liked. Absolutely bossed it for 30-odd minutes, Brighton. But that is a tale as old as time. When an underdog is on top, you've got to make it count.
Yeah, I think for all the possession they've had and all the good football they've played, starting on the front foot, no sign of any nerves at all on what is a huge occasion for the club and the players. They'll be absolutely gutted that they haven't been able to put any of those chances away and find themselves 2-0 down. And I think when you reflect on the first half, it's probably not a true reflection of the game, but that is football. And unfortunately, Man City have those players with that clinical edge. They have goals all across their front line all season. Players who, you know, they don't rely for all the goals that Bunny Shaw brings. They've also got other players that can produce across that front line in Carolyn, in Hemp, in Maidemar, who isn't on the pitch yet.
Yeah, it's not just a prolific centre forward. I wonder if we're going to see the first card here. We are. Rebecca Knapp took out Madison Haley.
I think she knew what she was doing there, Knack. There you go, big strong challenge. Haley very dangerous. She uses her body, almost bounces her off the ball. She has to make that decision there in that moment.
And now must behave.
Well, now if you're the Brighton forward, you're getting on to her every occasion.
Yeah, get the ball to Seike, get Seike running at her.
Absolutely.
Delivery from deep. Caitlin Hayes got her head on it. She did to score at Arsenal in the quarter-final. That's the thing though, all those goals from Shaw, but as Jenna said, so many from other sources too. They scored 62 goals in the WSL, that's a fraction of 3 per game on average. So many chipping in with plenty around a prolific strike, you can't help but be successful.
And I think in the past they've struggled where Bunny Shaw has been injured. You know, they've struggled to then get it over the line in terms of the WSL and winning the WSL because they haven't had those players in form being able to pick up the pieces when Bunny Shaw hasn't been available. But I think for Man City this season, they've had Bunny Shaw. She's been fit all season, which hasn't happened for a couple of seasons now. And as we've just spoke about, they've got other players who know how to find the back of the net.
And that's even with Lauren Hemp here down on goals and Mary Fowler only just back from a long-term injury. Look out everybody else if they keep going on that front. There were 9 goals more they scored than Arsenal, and everyone thinks of them as a goal machine. Well, City got 9 more in the league campaign. Here's Carolyn, who got into double figures. Kasparai.
She's been quite reserved, Kasparai, today. I think she's not got higher up the pitch as we're used to. Maybe that's credit to the way that Brighton are playing. But there you see, just busting a gap to overlap Carolyn, be an option in the final third.
The two combining again here. Here is the Brazilian, a cheeky chip for Grace Clinton. Hemp. Waves goodbye to Charlize Rule. Into Shaw, back towards Hemp. It was intricate, it was difficult, it was close to working.
Simons there, just read it really well, got the interception in. Bunny Shaw there again, just using her body back to goal. She's so aware of where her defenders are and just gets her body in between the ball and the player.
Can Brighton turn this showpiece back into a contest? That is the big question. Get the next goal. The feeling will change. Last term, Chelsea were way better than Manchester United. The year before that, Manchester United were way better than Tottenham. It was a tight one for a little while. Simons, young to be a regular captain, but has been for a while. Brighton through and through.
She comes from good pedigree, doesn't she? Spent her youth at Chelsea. Good foundations to build on, and has graduated out and is a key part of this Brighton team. And as you say, a young captain. The club see a lot of potential for her in their long-term plans.
England youth captain as well in her time previously. Miedemar coming soon. And Fugino as well, we're hearing. Before that, Manchester City, who are playing more like Manchester City now in this second half, coming forward. Ominous for Brighton as Hemp looks for Shaw again, and I think Clinton has pinched that off the top scorer's head.
Yeah, I think Bunny Shaw was up, she was ready to pull the trigger, and Clinton's literally stolen it.
Now Carolyn's in. Clinton again on target, but no more than that. And the two who combined there are the two who we believe will be making way shortly. Dangerous times for Brighton.
Clinton just opens up, passes it through the legs. Simons and Ndozi there, makes no mistake, gets down really early. But you can see the frustration from Bunny Shaw. Clinton would have left that. Could have been a different story.
Just 3 goals in this debut campaign as a City player, Grace Clinton. Obviously, slightly more limited game time, no question about that. But my centre forwards in the vicinity, I'm getting out of the way.
Maybe a lack of communication there. Maybe Shaw hasn't shouted for it.
Clinton worked hard to win that. Thought she won a free kick. No dice. Here's Kirby. Good touch from the Haley pass. Kiko Seike. Brighton still in this. Half an hour to play, maybe more. Maybe another half hour after that. Seike's won it again from Hemp. Surrounded by Black. Jankovic lays it off. Ollie Slagers. Great closing down from Blinkilde Brown.
To give Ollie Slagers an inch.
This time Caitlin Hayes bides her time, just when it looked like Bunny Shaw might give her the slip.
It's not a situation you want to be in 1v1 against Bunny Shaw. She recovers, she does well in the end.
Venegas tracked all the way, Blinkilde Brown with the toe in. We will wait for the throw, because those changes are going to be made now. Robert Fugino, and first, with Clinton indeed departing, one of the all-time greats, Viv Miedemar.
What a player, this is not what Brighton want to see. World-class player. Talk about goals this season. She's second top goal scorer for Man City behind Bunny Shaw. World-class player, classy player that just seems to get better with age. She'll fit in that 10 position, pull the strings, dictate the play. Linking up with Bunny Shaw.
A straight swap on the right flank with Elba Fugino in for Carolyn there.
Don't really see too much of that flair that Carolyn possesses. We've seen so many times in the WSL this season, but Brighton have managed to keep her quiet this afternoon.
Great hold-up play again from Madison Haley, and a good pass. Zipped out to Seike. Now, Greenwood has to be careful. Seike has to find a gap, and nearly did.
There, she gets the shot off. Past Greenwood and Knapp. Greenwood does really well initially, just not jumping in, just standing up. It's a strong shot. Yamashita had a good view of it.
Hayes tight again in. That was brilliant from Shaw. And equally brilliant from Minami there, because Hemp was trying something cheeky to nick inside and had done pretty well. That's great defending and hugely important, because Lauren Hemp was in if that had gone right for her.
Absolutely, she stood up, made herself big and got that interception in. Vital.
Jankovic. Rule had gone beyond, underlapping run. They've only been beaten 4 times all season, Manchester City, by Brighton, when the title was close. At Chelsea on the opening night. At the Joy Stadium by the Blues again in the League Cup semi-final. And then at Arsenal, the game after they'd beaten Chelsea 5-1. In a way, an understandable calm down, come down even, because that was when that 5-1 win over Chelsea, they knew that meant the title realistically. Here's Miedemar. But there too is Charlize Rule, who may be struggling or maybe okay.
Maybe she's just overstretched there. Miedemar immediately into the play, just trying to drag it back, never really gets hold of it. It's the corner though. See Bunny Shaw just hovering. Usually makes that late run. Great movement into the box to lose defenders so many times, you see it. She always manages to be free.
Greenwood's corner, always good. And Rebecca Knapp got there first.
As well there at the near post, Knapp. It's the better of Haley. Just can't keep it on target there, you see. Just opens her body up. Can't keep it on target.
If it is on, I suspect it's in. Scored a couple of times this season, one absolutely huge one, just when the wobble looked possible, after they'd lost to Brighton. And they were goalless with Liverpool. Knapp scored in stoppage time, a winner. At that point, when it was 0-0 going into stoppage time, Arsenal had the games in hand still. It was the case that if Arsenal won the lot, they would nick the title. It's a huge goal. He needs a huge goal from any source. Looks like change is coming.
Need to get their key players on the ball. Kirby there just cuts a figure of frustration. She's a player you want on the ball.
No flag here on Bunny Shaw. Hemp found her again. Still Bunny Shaw. Nice dummy. Over for Gino, trying to find some room. She's found it, and she's found the net. Super moment for the super sub. And as long as Bunny Shaw is onside in the build-up here, that is that. Manchester City are going to win the double.
Bunny Shaw, really unselfish player. Thought she was going to take the shot on herself. She doesn't. She spots her teammate, cuts it back, and then Virgino, so patient, just trying to find the extra yard, not panicking, not rushing into the shot. She finds the extra yards and fires it past Ndozi. 3-0 now. Brighton give themselves an absolute mountain to climb.
Let's just check here. Shaw lays it off and then goes. Yeah, no question. Everything about that is brilliant. Bunny Shaw running throughout it, but not on the end of it.
Yeah, and you see in the start of that phase, Bunny Shaw cuts across the defender just there. She knows that the defender knows she can't touch her because she's going to concede a penalty, and here you see
Deflection.
Yeah, off the back of Minami. Wrong foot Sandozi, but great play. Really great play from Bunny Shaw. First movement across the defender, and then Virginio just getting that extra yard, and unfortunately for Minami, it comes off, deflects off her back.
Well, there was no way this showpiece was going to pass without huge involvement from the huge Japanese contingent involved. And it is those of Manchester City who are going to be getting the winners' medals. Who's planning that double change, Dario Vidicic? She's still going to do it. It's now 3-0, not 2. Here's Kirby, here's Kiko Seike. Well, we know they fought back well, including during this cup run, this season in general, Brighton. But this is Man City and it's 3, Jenna. Surely their goose is cooked here.
I think it's a bit too far to go. You see Seike there just trying to take matters into her own hands. I think she's been fantastic, trying to make things happen, but Man City, the class, the quality has really shone through. And they've still got the quality, they've still got to go for it, they've got nothing to lose. Now they've worked so hard to get here, they've got to kind of fight for the badge now, and all their efforts to get here, they've got to throw absolutely everything at it.
Pomate and Kafaji coming soon for Brighton. Still scoring at around 3 a game on average, Manchester City, even when they didn't attack for 30-odd minutes.
Here Dario trying to get the messages to his team, trying to G them up, encourage them.
Simons, that's an inviting ball. It was awkward for Venegas, that. By the time she got up, it was actually slightly behind her, I think.
You can see she's stretching behind her to get a touch on it. It was whipped in with such pace. Perfect ball there, and you see just behind her, she doesn't have time to adjust. You see, can't keep it on target.
She was there already. Had she been running on to that? Different story, potentially. Well, Kiko Seike has had a super season. She's actually had a really good game and given Alex Greenwood all sorts of trouble on that flank, but she will play no further part in this FA Cup final.
Just wasn't to be for her. She's been probably the most influential player out there for Brighton. Early on, looked like the key player, looked like the main threat, the main outlet for Brighton.
Melissa Pomé coming on for Charlie's Rule at the back. Played a bit more as a Brighton player than she was as a Chelsea player before her transfer, Melissa Pomé. Straight into the action there, as was Kafaji, but out of play, it's a throw-in.
Kafaji's a player I really enjoy to watch, very skillful young player. Again, hasn't had a lot of minutes really, as many minutes as she'd like, but she's definitely got a spark about her.
The second half of the season, more out of the team than in, that is for sure. Started the season pretty well with her fellow Arsenal loanee Ajamang. The two of them were looking really good, and then Ajamang got injured. Here's Ollie Slaggers. Hasegawa immediately. Good dummy that from Kafaji. Here's Mpome, the two subs. It's a pretty aimless cross though, and she had times that she did look up. Good Blinkilda Brown's been brilliant, actually.
She has. She's kind of read all the danger, hasn't she? She's been like a shield in front of that defence, and then going forwards, just does the basics, doesn't she? Doesn't do anything too fancy, gets the basics right, pulling all the strings. But yeah, defensively, I think she's been outstanding. Probably a player that really goes under the radar a bit in this Man City team full of top players.
Well, that's it. They have their back four, and they have Hasegawa and Blinkilda Brown mopping things up, and then whatever quartet's in front of them can go and do fun stuff. Play going on here, and Brighton playing on despite their fans' protests. Players, I guess, could have put the ball out. Haley's been a dangerous presence up there again today and done a lot of good things well, but the half chances have not gone in for her or her colleagues, and it's going to cost them here.
Yeah, not really. This second half created the level of opportunities that they did in the first half. We wondered if they could carry on playing with that tempo, with that intensity, and it certainly dropped off. There you see Kasparai just standing strong against Haley. Haley's up.
Competition at the business end of the women's game in England now. Brighton trying hard to be a part of that. 5th, then 7th more recently. Again, the Seagulls fans hoping for a whistle. I don't feel like that was ever going to come from that.
I don't think there was too much in that at all. I think Knack has just stood strong. Haley maybe backing into her. She's still down. Both are holding their faces. Maybe there was a bit of contact, but I don't think anything malicious. Headed the back of Haley's head there.
It may well have hurt, and I don't think Knack did too much too wrong. She'll be on best behaviour at the moment anyway, given the yellow card she's on. And, further changes afoot here. We're going to have the drinks break and then the changes, but coming soon for City, Lohman and Fowler. And also coming soon for City, a League and Cup double.
Yeah, it's been some season for them, hasn't it? Unbelievable first season. New manager. New players to embed. But they've been absolutely fantastic. I think obviously they've not had Champions League to concentrate on, and they've taken advantage of absolutely everything. Got themselves back in Champions League next year. They're going to be such an attractive club for the best players in the world to come and want to be part of. Hopefully it's the start of another really special era for Man City.
Nearly 44,000 inside. The English home of football, including Tony Bloom. Part of the brains behind the excellent things that are happening at Brighton Football Club in general. Men, women and academy. Well, this was Greenwood's cross and Shaw's header for 1-0 late in the first half. That felt like a bit of a punch in the ribs for Brighton, and that felt like a dagger through their heart. Alex Greenwood deep in first half stoppage time. Then Shaw was absolutely superb in the build-up before the substitute for Gino made it 3. Good timing on all fronts. So 7th goal this season, Alba Fagina. Got one in the cup against Sheffield United early in the run. I think this one might just trump that. Yeah, that juggle will be interesting next season, because with the elite level game getting better and better all the time, you feel like if you have got a shot at playing a season without Europe, and obviously they wouldn't have wanted that, but that is the upside of it, right?
Absolutely, and I think now is time to build onto this. You can't afford to sit still while everyone's investing around you, and this is a great foundation now to build on and make sure they've got that squad that can compete on all cylinders for the whole duration of the season and be up there again next season. Securing Bunny Shaw's huge start in looking into the future. Absolutely massive for them.
They've got some good young players. I'm sure there'll be some recruitment. I mean, you look at their bench today: Fagino, Fowler, Sidney Lohman, Miedemar. Pretty good going. Oh, Laura Coombs on there as well at the twilight of her career. Layla Wahhabi is on the bench and will be departing. That's already been announced. But yeah, you'd think with Europe that the squad's only going to get stronger, and will need to. The extra workload. They did not have those midweekers that Chelsea, Man United and Arsenal had. And you saw for Manchester United actually just how they were really good for such a long time, and then they hit some sort of wall, didn't they, in around March time, Man United, and couldn't win a game anymore. They just ran out of gas completely, and you could see how Europe affected them.
Yeah, and I think they had a really good run in Europe for their first time in the Champions League, but yeah, as you say, it was just a little bit too far for them this season, and it's their first experience of competing in the Champions League and obviously fulfilling the WSL fixtures, so a big learning curve for them, and something that they can build on as well in terms of squad depth.
Ollie Slager's making way here, and so too Frank Kirby. Rachel McLaughlin. And Nadine Nordam coming on. Well, she has experienced both sides of the coin before now, largely winning, Frank Kirby, but has also lost FA Cup finals in her time. Nadine Nordam scored her first Brighton goal in the 91st minute to get them to this final. Well, they need 3 in 15 minutes here. They might need more than that. Bunny Shaw just beaten to it by Nadozi. Now the flag goes up.
Yeah, I think she was offside. A good line from Brighton. But excellent work initially from Miedemar in that midfield area, just turning away from the pressure. Finding the pass of, you see, just finding the pass. Bunny Shaw just offside.
Well, there is goal-scoring royalty of the English women's game here today, isn't there, at Wembley? Kirby, Miedemar and Shaw. I'd imagine Ellen White is in the building somewhere.
Yeah, Kirby, I mean, she was excellent in that first half. Just wasn't to be. Stepped too far for this Brighton team this afternoon. But she's been huge in the growth of Brighton, and Brighton will be looking to hopefully keep hold of her. You need players, you need leaders with that experience, winners, winning mentality within your squad when you're growing.
Captain Simons curls one in. Alex Greenwood heads it away. Hoisted back in there by McLaughlin. Haley. Wasn't thinking twice about that. Look out. That's a rare misplaced pass. Lead him up.
I think out of possession again, even in the 8th minute. You can see the Brighton defenders still defensively disciplined, tracking back.
Here they come again. What a save Bunny Shaw has let rip. Dozy couldn't thwart her in the first half, but she has there.
Oh, it was a thunderous strike from Bunny Shaw. She had her teammates around her, 3 players around her. She's only got one thing in her mind there, and that's the shot. It's a really strong save, strong hand from Ndozi. Parry the ball over the bar. Fantastic save. Thunderous strike.
Superb from both. Greenwood again in towards Shaw. It's coming back here for the captain, and they'll all stay in there. Look how bunched it is in the 6-yard box. Fagino through the crowd and nearly in again.
Fagino, so clever on the edge of the box. She just holds her run. She sees everybody going forward. Brighton take their eyes off of her, and she just holds it. There you see Greenwood plays it into her. Again, Ndozi, I don't think she knows too much about that. There's bodies in front of her. She gets the touch at the near post. Fantastic from Ndozi again.
A little bit deeper this time. Shaw still finds a way to be on the end of it, and it's hooked in by Rose. It was a cheeky effort, not all that far away.
Had have been a classy finish as she kept that on target. You can see the little smirk after. There, Bunny Shaw just getting it back in the danger area. Just trying to scoop it over the defenders. Over Ndozi, but can't quite execute it.
It's a teaser of a ball. Kasparai, she make contact with Kafaji.
Kasparai does enough there. Does enough.
Well, this will hurt. It'll also be a source of strength, I'm sure, next season. What a season. Bunny Shaw, goals to fire them to the title, goals to get them into this final, the opening goal of this final, and now her reward is her own personal send-off.
Absolutely, she just makes everything look so easy. Dominates that 6-yard box, the goals, consistency season after season to keep producing. You feel like she's only going to get better. The more this team grows, the players that are around her. Unbelievable player.
And an unbelievable servant replacing her in Laura Coombs. Laura Coombs was a youngster on the Arsenal bench when the Gunners won the FA Cup in 2011. 15 years ago, and well decorated in between and fairly well travelled. 3 FA Cup winners' medals at 3 different clubs. And shall we say that the wrong side just of the midway point of the 30s. That's not too much of a giveaway. Here's Miedemar, and a ton of space out there. Kasparai hurtling into it. Look how many are forward. It's 4, is it? It is. She starts the move, she ends the move. She's Viv Miedemar, and it's 4-0 Man City.
Kasparai with the assist again. Miedemar starts the move. Excellent ball, switches the play out to her international teammate, and then she's just got one thought in her mind: get in the box. She's calling for it. Delightful ball into the 6-yard area, and Ndozi tries to scrape it out the back of the goal. Fantastic, Vivian Miedemar.
That was so cleverly done in the middle of the park there.
Track the run of Miedemar. She's getting in there into the 6-yard box. A perfect ball, unopposed. Fantastic.
Credit to Sydney Lohman right at the beginning of that move for that neat take and clever pass. It started it all off for Miedemar in the first place. By her standards, she'd probably say I should be getting nearer the corner than that, but enough on it. Not quite enough on it from Chiamaka Nnadozi's point of view. Not a lot she could have done about that. She nearly kept it out. But got to say, it feels harsh on Brighton in many ways, this. I mean, 4-0 would sound like City must have come out and steamrolled them. They are going to do so by the full-time whistle, but it really wasn't like that, was it?
It wasn't. Brighton, for me, I thought they were the better team in the first half. Fortunately for Brighton, they couldn't finish or capitalise on the chances that they were creating. And when you don't do that against a team like Man City, we're seeing what can happen because they've got the quality that can turn games around. 2 weak goals from a Brighton point of view. And then I think the second half, I think Man City have really grown into it and taken full control. Look at the substitutes they're bringing on, the quality on the pitch. The Gino Miedemar, immediate impact off the bench. And yeah, I think it's tough on Brighton. A really professional performance from Man City.
Yeah, they've played like and looked like Man City since about 32 minutes in.
Yeah.
And as they walk up and receive their runners-up medals shortly, Brighton, you know the thoughts in their mind would just be, if we had scored when we had him on the rack, what might have happened?
Oh, they'll be seeing the chances in their dreams tonight, I imagine. What could have been, and fortunately it just wasn't to be. But I mean, what a journey they've been on to get here as finalists. Been an incredible season, a really tough season as well off the pitch for them and all involved. And you know, they've now got this experience, this big game experience under their belts, and they'll look to kick on and hope to be back here again next season, because you know, these experiences for players, you know, they can shape you. And there's a strong group, strong staffing group that will keep this group together, and they've got a lot of potential for the season ahead.
Bex Rayner on for Maisie Simons for what remains from a Brighton perspective here. The day is nearly done. I wonder if we'll get a mercy call for Brighton in terms of the stoppage time. We'll find out in a few seconds. Four minutes. Here's Mary Fowler, without whom they wouldn't be here. Out of nothing, really good goal, having just come on at Stamford Bridge in that semi-final. Mary Fowler, her first goal, having not long been back after such a long time out. The old cliche, but that'll feel like a new signing in the summer. That plus, of course, Bunny Shaw re-signing. Alex Greenwood is going to get her hands on another cup.
Yeah, big performance from Greenwood. I think when the game was getting away from them, the momentum, she's that player, that leader that can keep the team together, keep calm. Had a big impact today, 1 goal, 1 assist to make the game comfortable for Man City. And yet gets the lift. The FA Cup, second cup of the season as club captain.
Jankovic, is there to be at least a goal? Haley! Well, not yet, there's not, because Yamashita's there to keep the sheet clean.
Excellent, Yamashita still alert, still alive in the dying moments at that near post. Just feeling Haley's looked very frustrated this second half. struggled to have any really clear-cut opportunities.
McLaughlin. They want that clean sheet. All right, look how hard they're still scrapping, but it will be a Brighton corner with a couple of minutes to go.
Still got that hunger. The defenders, the clean sheets, just as important as the goals at the other end of the pitch. That's the mentality you need if you're going to be the best. Giving anything up, even at 4-0 up in an FA Cup final, still giving everything.
They're winning the corner count. Jankovic into the near post and wide of that near post. Madison Haley has had some nearly moments today, hasn't she?
Yeah, she had. That was a difficult one. I think it was Mary Fowler who was tracking her. But Haley, yeah, she's had some moments. Just hasn't been able to find the back of the net along with her teammates. Again, she's an exciting young player here for Brighton that you feel like she's just getting started. Obviously, found her form at the closing months of the season. She's a player who will be looking to kick on next season, make a name for herself.
For a few years now, we've had Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City, Man United being a fairly obvious top four. Liverpool broke in there briefly. Brighton have been one of those potentially knocking on the door. Very much seeing good signs from Tottenham Hotspur under Martin Hove. And London City aren't being shy. So competition up the top half, only getting better and better. But all the glorious cities, really. Chelsea won the League Cup, but Manchester City have won the FA Cup. A glorious double, with the captain at the heart of it. Out of sorts and under huge pressure for half an hour, but hugely impressive thereafter. They have bared their considerable teeth at all those attacking options, and they have blown Brighton away in the end. And the cup is City's. Jenna.
It wasn't easy for them. I think we've touched on it, how Brighton started the game. They started very, very well. There were moments where they had to suffer. They had to just be patient. They grew into the game, and then, as you say, I think from probably the 30-minute mark, they started to look to find their flow. The quality came through, and yeah, I think they fully deserve it. I think if you look across the 90 minutes, they were the better team, especially in the second half. And, you know, quality goals. Alex Greenwood, real captain's performance with her goal and assist, and then Bunny Shaw, Niedermar also on the score sheet. So really professional performance, and what a way to end a really special season for this Man City team.
Well, I hope they're soaking it up, because it won't get any better than this. 4-0 FA Cup final win, Jenna, to go with a first title after 10 years. It's a first cup after 6. And he'll say all the right things, I'm sure, and he'll mean them, and he'd be right to. They've done well to get here. They were the better team for a while. But that's football, right?
It is, and I think that goal, the free kick just before half-time, probably killed them. I think if you go in at 1-0 against Man City, you've got a bit of hope to get back out there. The third goal didn't go their way, and then it was a huge battle to climb. But yeah, they'll be kicking themselves. They had opportunities themselves in the first half, but you give credit to Man City, a real professional performance and quality. They, you know, it wasn't all their way, but they dug deep and they turned it around.
Long trip down south, more than worthwhile for that lot. Manchester City triumphant at Wembley in the showpiece, just as they were over 9 months of the Barclays WSL season. Double joy. In the end, they have won this FA Cup final very comfortably indeed. Congratulations to them and to Brighton for getting here. The final score at Wembley, Brighton 0, Manchester City 4. Well, the first 30 minutes or so here in this Wembley FA Cup final were almost exclusively dominated by Brighton, and this was a couple of chances really. Madison Haley first, then Ollie Slagers and Alex Greenwood blocking on the line after the 50-50 with Yamashita hit.
Haley not backing out, she gets the first touch, but Yamashita's brave in her save. Ollie Slagers trying the outside of her boot to find the bottom corner, but Greenwood's there to save off the line.
Hasegawa, one of many City players who was struggling to deal with the Brighton press. Frank Kirby couldn't get it past Yamashita. Seike had half an eye on the near top corner on the rebound.
The Brighton press was perfect in the first half, and there Kirby trying to cut it past Yamashita, but Yamashita excellent, alert, off her line really quick to get the save.
You could hear there the call of keeper from Nadozi, but she didn't get there, and Bunny Shaw did.
Perfect delivery from Greenwood, and Bunny Shaw scored so many goals like that. Up the highest, nods it in.
And right on half-time. I know technically the third's probably the one that absolutely nails it, but this is the killer moment for me. 2-0 up after that half.
Yeah, Alex Greenwood, inch perfect, free kick into the bottom corner. Excellent from the Man City captain.
Excellent all-round here from Shaw. The layoff, then she got it back, then she held off Hayes, then she laid it through into Fagino. Nice dummy from Miedemar. Slight deflection. Everything going City's way, 3-0.
Bunny Shaw just powering past Brighton defender. And then here, Fagino just trying to find the extra yard. Unfortunate for Minami, it comes off to flex off of her back into the back of the goal.
Just pouring forward here. Bunny Shaw hammered it. That's the save of the game.
Unbelievable save. And Dozy there. Really strong hand to parry it over the bar.
Greenwood's corner ended up coming back to her here. Fagino very nearly got another. Off the upright there.
And Dozy was busy there at the near post again. Fagino just holding her run. Takes the shot on first time. Another very good save.
And Miedemar galloping up through the middle here. Kasper, I found her, and Miedemar found the net.
Just starts the move and finishes. Classic Miedemar. 4-0 and excellent Man City.
Well, in the end, even with Man City quite running right towards the end, but not far off it, Brighton still matched them with attempts, but not on target, as it turned out. They still had slightly more of the ball, Brighton. They certainly gave their all, and they were level in many ways, but it's a very lopsided looking scoreline. Well, what a first season for him. Someone needs to tell him, Jenna, that it's not always going to be this easy, right? He takes a new job in a new land, in a new league, and
he's made it look very easy, hasn't he? It's almost, yeah, he's come in, he's like he's been there for years. You can see the admiration that the players had for him, the trust, the respect they have for him. They bought into him very early on, and that was very clear. I think he started the season, obviously, a really tough opening game against Chelsea, where he get to feel what the WSL, that competitiveness of the WSL is really like, and from that game they really kicked on. They've stayed together, won the league, got themselves in a really healthy position, and like you say, they didn't have the Champions League to worry about this season. Put absolutely everything into getting themselves into a position where they'll be lifting that WSL title at the end of the season. They've done that, and then what a way to cap it off with a second cup, FA Cup. They've been so close for so many years to victory and glory, and now they've got it, they've got a taste of it, and I imagine they'll be so hungry for more.
for sure, and that European adventure will be interesting. And you wouldn't bet against them going deep when they do return to the Champions League. You saw a few tears there. Laura Coombs, after her brilliant career, retiring, and Layla Wahhabi certainly departing for pastures new. And there she is on the left there. Just managed to fight back the tears and find a smile in there somewhere. Well, a tiring day and a tiring walk for a medal I suppose you would proudly have if you aren't used to such occasions, Jenna, but maybe if you're Frank Kirby or someone like that, you might think it's not going to be right up there in my list.
No, I think, you know, they're going to be absolutely gutted, heartbroken, and right now they won't see the pride in the journey they've been in. It will hurt. They won't want this runner-up, Leslie. You know, they honestly felt they could come here and cause an upset as the underdogs, and, you know, they had every reason to believe that. They've had a fantastic season, and they've, you know, shown they can beat the best, they can compete with the best. Unfortunately, today was just a step too far, and looking at a player like Frank Kirby, who's been up there so many times, collecting the winner's medal and trophy, it's going to hurt for her as she leads her team off. But hopefully once all the noise quietens down, they'll look back at this and they should be proud of it, because it's not many teams, not many players get to compete in an FA Cup final. So they've got a lot to be proud of, but of course it will hurt them badly today.
Their progress next term will be interesting. There's a a lot of competition now, even in mid-table. The English women's game. Clearly they're going in the right direction. We saw that, I think, 2 summers ago when that recruitment drive really started. Seiko came in, Frank Kirby came in, they bought Nikita Paris at the time as well. It was as if they were saying, right, we're going to mean business in this league now. And the problem is, London City have arrived on the scene and they certainly mean business. Tottenham look like a different team, and all of them are below what has become the established top 4. Maybe they're not going to be the established top 4 anymore. Brighton, one of those trying to break into it.
Yeah, it's difficult, but it's so important. You have to keep building, you have to keep investing, because, as you say, the teams in and around them, the London Cities and the Tottenhams, are now really heavily backed. A lot of investment going into those teams, and you've got to keep a part of that pack to try and crack into an already really competitive top 4. So yeah, it's important that they use this now as a foundation, and they carry on investing, they carry on growing to be able to compete and stay with that pack.
Recruitment will be interesting. They've definitely got a good thing going on for sure. Today, tale of the first third and the second 2/3, really. Not quite a game of 2 halves, but they just couldn't find the finishing touch when they really had City in trouble. City's attacking players were not getting any of the ball. There was no threat on that Nadozi goal until that cross came in late in the half from Alex Greenwood. And it was all rather deflating from then on for Brighton. Alex Greenwood was in the City team the last time they lifted the FA Cup, but that wasn't in front of this many fans because it was 2020. I think she's in a happy place right now. I think she's had just about the perfect day, right? Captain, heroic bit of defending, great cross, brilliant free kick. What else has she got? Clean sheet and then lifting the trophy.
Yeah.
I don't think those get much better than that.
She's had a bit of everything, hasn't she? True captain, and you know, she leads with her heart, and you can see the smile there. Been part of this team for many, many years now, and has had the ups, the downs, the smiles, the tears, and moments like this. As a player, you savour, and it makes all that hard work worth it, and it's fully deserved. And as you say, when you need your leader to step up and put in a 10-10 performance, she's done exactly that, and it sets the tone for the rest of the team that, you know, if your captain's giving absolutely everything, throwing her body on the line, on the goal line, getting the goals, getting the assists, it's, yeah, an excellent role model for her teammates to look up to.
Look at the grin on the face of Ayaki Yamashita there. Speaking of great times, so what a year for her. Asia Cup winning goalkeeper. Started today, hoping for the double, worried she might even have to go off. She was in tears with that collision early on with Madison Haley, but it's a broad grin now for the Manchester City goalkeeper, with that Kirsten Kasperite and Sydney Lohman in there behind. And Eartha Cummings, who we thought we might see at one point, the Scottish keeper. Yeah, big deep breath. That was a lot of stairs, and they're not done yet.
And I think she'll probably still feel the effects of that early collision for weeks to come. It was a strong challenge, but thankfully she stayed on the pitch, and could have been a different story, but she didn't, and she's made some big saves for her team.
I wonder how many of these Manchester City fans were here a couple of weeks ago when Guardiola's men edged a far closer, far less exciting final against Chelsea here at Wembley. Right, big deep breath, and up we go again. Arriving in the royal box, here they come. It's the place you want to be. What a first season in charge for Andre Jeglerts. In charge of the Danes at the Euros, had already made it known that he was City bound. Hasegawa's been brilliant, hasn't she, this season? Sydney Lohman there, a new arrival.
Yeah, Hasegawa just so consistently good, week in, week out. Again, she goes under the radar, but she's probably one of the first names in this Manchester City squad every week. Technical ability absolutely through the roof, and yeah, a key part to this team, and again, so a player that's been on a journey with this club and gets her rewards this season.
One final medal there for Laura Coombs. What a career. A lot of medals. Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City. Lauren Hemp, Mary Fowler back fit again just in time for the glory. Actually came back on. Her comeback was in the 5-1 win against Chelsea, when everyone basically knew what was happening by the time that happened.
Well, Lauren Hemp, a loyal servant to this club, had much interest from around Europe, really, during her time at Man City, but she stayed loyal even when times were tough at Man City, and you know, it means so much more when you go on this journey with a club, and again, thoroughly well deserved.
Well, almost last. Bunny Shaw, certainly not last in any other chart. At 2017, 2019, 2020, and now 2026. She's whipping them up, Alex Greenwood. It's been a real captain's performance today, but it's been a wonderful team all season long. A sensational season for Manchester City. Becomes a historic one. It's a double. The FA Cup is theirs, and the best player on the pitch has it in her hands first, Alex Greenwood. Under the pump for a bit, but they have absolutely bashed up Brighton in the end, doing what they have done all season, scoring goal after goal after goal. And you hope that they suckle this up and remember it forever, because rarely will it get this good, and it may never get this good again.
No, and these are the moments now where you want to stay out on the pitch, soak it all up, see your family, see your friends. They're just as important for these players on their journeys, and they've deserved it. All the hard work on the pitch, off the pitch, the sacrifices are all for moments like this. So yeah, I hope they absolutely soak it up and enjoy the celebrations this evening.
Well, plenty left inside Wembley as the women's season comes to an end, with Manchester City winning 2 of the 3 domestic trophies, indeed the 2 most important of the 3 domestic trophies. Congratulations to them. They weren't even supposed to get to this final. They looked down and out at Stamford Bridge, and congratulations to Brighton as well for even getting this far. But it is Manchester City's day at Wembley. It is Manchester City's season all round. From Ben Andrews and Jenna Schillaci, it's goodbye.